This is today. I checked because I was like, where do I want to hike?
I feel like this just happened out of nowhere. Like,
yeah.
I didn't know anything about fire until like 2 days ago. And now it's just everywhere.
Yeah.
Fucking bizarre. That's how fires work. It's so wild.
Basically, like 2 days ago.
Yeah, this was like the one we were like walking away from. It was like crazy.
Oh, wow. And you're just like right there.
Yeah, you just had to keep going. Search and rescue was like, the fire is like less than 2 miles away from you guys, so please continue walking.
Oh, shit.
All right, so I'll have you have to like talk into the mic, so you have to have it close to your face. And you can move it. Feel free to move it anywhere you need to, wherever's comfortable for you.
Wow. Look at you.
Yeah, and you don't have to be gentle with it. You can just fucking yank it around.
Can I lick it?
What?
Can I lick it?
I mean, I can't guarantee that there's not some gross ass germs on them.
So the concern is for me, not for the mic. Okay.
Yeah.
Perfect.
All right, welcome everybody to the Ghost Show. We have a wonderful, spontaneous guest today, Mary, old friend, old jiu-jitsu colleague of sorts. We were training during the pandemic when you shouldn't, and that was cool. We were rebels.
Yeah, it was fun.
They closed all the gyms. That's the last time I really saw you, was the beginning of the pandemic when everyone was fucking freaking out.
Yeah, that was crazy because I came to San Diego just to train at Legion. And I was there for a month, and then they were like, no more jiu-jitsu. And then you messaged on the, what's it called, Discord thingy? Mm-hmm. And you were like, does anybody want to train? And I was like, I'm only here to train.
It was only 2 people, too. I was surprised not more people. We had, like, there's like maybe one other person that was interested, and they just never hit me up again.
Nice. Yeah, but that was fun. I still have those videos. I watched them the other day.
I have a few of them, too.
And I'm like, wow. I think I'm better now.
Yeah,
like
I look back to it,
like,
and I'm like,
what was I doing? Why did I do that?
Have I improved at all? I'm like, oh my God. Yeah.
Yeah, that's funny.
So you also have been backpacking, like all over the place. I've been watching your Instagram, and you're somewhere new. Like I'll like watch one of your stories, and you're like, I'm in the middle of the woods. I have a people are so nice. They left food. Look at this. And you just like eat some food that was left by a tree that was like a note that's like, enjoy.
Yeah, that's the best food. The unexpected food.
And it just blows my mind. So when did you start backpacking? Because I know tell people where you're from and like why you moved to San Diego. So you moved to San Diego for jiu-jitsu, but where were you before that?
Well, I didn't really move there. So I've been living in Jordan for the past 7 years, like in the Middle East, Jordan, not like Georgia. People always think I say Georgia.
Is there a Jordan in Georgia?
There's Georgia in like Eastern Asia.
Yeah.
But people think I mean Georgia the state.
Okay.
And then I'm like, no, Jordan. And then they're like, blank stare. And then I'm like, in the Middle East. And they're like, okay, Jesus. Jesus was there. I'm like, yes, Jesus, Jordan. So I've been living there for the past 7 years, and working as a like conflict analyst, mostly on Syria. And was doing that in 2020, I'd been doing it for 5 years, and I was like a little burnt out. So I'm like, cool, I'm going to quit my job in 2020. 2020 sounds like a great year for like all this adventure. And so I quit my job and then went to San Diego just to train for a few months, and then COVID hit. So then I was like, well, shit, I'm just going to go train in your apartment.
You were telling me you were stuck here.
Crazy.
You couldn't go back to Jordan.
Yeah, I changed. I think I told you this when I was doing it. I changed my driver's license to California then. And it has the address of the Airbnb where I was staying still. Because I bought a motorcycle, and I wanted to get my motorcycle license. Because I was like, if it's the apocalypse, like,
I remember you like showing up to Legion on
your
motorcycle.
Bike. Yeah. Oh my gosh, I miss it so much. I had to sell it. So yeah, I was planning on doing that for 2020, but then COVID hit. So then I ended up getting a job that I was working while I was training with you, and then was separated from my boyfriend. We couldn't get back together. So I spent 8 months like trying to get basically repatriated to Jordan. And eventually they flew me back to Jordan on a special flight for like Palestinians that didn't have Jordanian passports, but like had lived in Jordan forever. So it was like all these Palestinian refugees and like me.
This is like white girl.
Like, hey, yeah. Everyone was like, what the fuck are you doing here? I was like, I don't know.
That's so funny.
So I got repatriated to Jordan. Had to do like a 14-day quarantine in a hotel room where they like had a police officer outside. And you like couldn't leave. And then I was back in Jordan. So that was like my first attempt at like a fun year of traveling. Then I worked for another year in 2021, and then I quit my job again for 2022. So I'm on my second year of like trying to do cool things.
And so what was your ambition this year? What are you trying to do with all the hiking? Was there like a trail that you're on?
Yeah, the PCT. It's like the Appalachian Trail, but like the West Coast version. So it goes from Mexico to Canada.
You started in Mexico?
I didn't,
Oh.
but most people do.
Gotcha.
Yeah, I started in the California-Oregon border
Uh-huh.
and went north, and now I'm flipping and going south.
Okay.
So that's what I'm doing now.
So you're going to go to Mexico?
I don't think I'll go all the way to Mexico.
Mexico's a little rough right now. Might want to...
Yeah, and like I live in the
skip that
desert, and I
part.
don't really feel like the last 700 miles of the PCT are all desert. I'm like, I've done that. Don't really want to do that anymore. So I'm just going to go until
How many miles is
bored.
that?
I've done about 1,000. I'm probably going to do about 500 more, but the whole trail is like 2,653.
That's crazy.
Which is insane.
How many people do this?
A lot. They make their permits. They go from like March 1st to like 3 months, and they start 50 people a day going north. And then they start 15 people a day going south.
Wait, there's permits?
Yeah, you have to get a permit. It's free. You
How
just
did
have to
they
apply
even
in
know?
advance.
Like, is there like trail watchers? Like, what do you
Yeah,
mean?
like rangers.
You're like,
Park
let me see that
rangers.
permit.
Yeah, they do that.
Really?
Yeah,
Like,
but
so
not very
if
often.
you don't have a permit, you can't be on that trail.
Yeah, but the park rangers are so chill. They're all stoners. They're just like, mate, bro, why don't you have a permit? Like, I'm going to close my eyes.
I was thinking about, like,
you should leave.
just thinking about total degeneracy. Because
Yeah.
when you go out there, there's still going to be assholes, like, even out in the middle of nowhere that just leave trash and, like, even paying, or I guess it's free wherever you started. I know you can I had to buy a permit, too, for where I was. I feel like it's just, like, the smallest barrier of entry to keep people from just going out there and being assholes, maybe.
That makes sense. Just like,
And I think they want to limit the number of people that are out there, too. But it's true. If you just go for, like, a weekend or, like, a week hike, you have to get your own permit, and sometimes you have to pay. But if you have the whole through hiking permit, it's free.
how much does the permit cost?
Depends on the park. You can get a parks pass for like $50 a year,
Oh,
and that covers like most things.
okay. That's not. I was
It's not
thinking
super expensive.
like $200 to go.
No. Like $6 or something stupid.
That's crazy. You know how much it costs to go skiing?
A lot.
Like, what the fuck? You could go walk all of these trails, but like just to go to the top of a mountain, they're like, nah, bruh, $500 today, only for today. You're like, what the fuck?
And if you want a burger, $30.
Oh yeah,
You want
anything up there is
anything.
gonna be like 3 times more expensive. It's like, we gotta get up the mountain, bro. You know how hard it is to drive up here? Snow everywhere. Yeah, that's fucking sick, though.
It's beautiful. Man, America's so beautiful. I've been having the best time.
So did you hike a lot before this? Were you big?
Not really.
So
I
you
actually
just were
realized
like, fuck it.
I rolled up. I've done like trips. I thought I had hiked and camped alone before, but the first night I was out there, I was like, this is definitely the first time I've ever camped alone. And I was like scared.
It's such a crazy feeling.
Yeah.
Like being totally out there in the middle of nowhere. And like you still see people every day. Like, I don't know, you probably went to some more remote spaces than me. I feel like I was like still in a city. Like you just so see people every few miles sometimes.
Interesting.
But you're on your own for sure. It's a weird
And
experience.
there's like bears and shit.
Yeah, and
Have you
I
seen
also
bears?
had this experience where, because I was like, I flew into Ashland and was like getting my gear
I love
food
Ashland.
together.
Oregon?
Ashland was really nice, yeah,
My favorite town.
really nice. I bought all this food and like you put it in boxes and you mail it to yourself. So that took me like a day, and then I like did another day of logistics. And every time I would meet, first of all, people were pulling over on the street, being like, "Do you need a ride?" Because I think I just look like useless. And then people are like, "This girl needs some help," which is fair.
Are you like 5'4", like
I
white
know,
girl,
like, white
completely
girl,
by
just, like,
herself?
and I like lose my shit everywhere. So people are like, I think she needs some help. But I had like 3 separate men, older men, tell me I was gonna get eaten by a cougar. And I don't think they tell everyone that. I think it was like me specifically. They were like, this girl is gonna get eaten by a cougar.
You look like cougar bait. Yeah.
Yeah, the guy who gave me a ride to the trail, he like was so concerned about it. He was like, you know what you need to do? You have to buy a bandana that has a face on it, and you attach it to the back of your pack. And that's how you stop a cougar attack. Like, should we stop at this store? I can check if they have a face bandana for you. And he like really wanted to buy me this like bandana with a face on it. And I was like, I think we're good. It's fine. I'll get one on the next stop.
Damn.
But yeah, so people were really sure I was gonna die. But once you're out there, it's fine. It feels really safe. People are super friendly. Like, it's
What's your
really
plan?
easy. Yeah, I saw. The biggest thing I saw was an elk. There was a bear, I had a couple like near bear encounters.
Oh, fuck.
Like
that actually, like, it's a huge nightmare for me. And I don't even go in the woods.
Yeah.
I just listen to too much Joe Rogan. Every time I see a bear, I just hear like his fucking voice in my head, and I'm like, I'm gonna die. I'm gonna be like Timothy Tedwell and fucking get eaten in front of my girlfriend that doesn't exist.
You got a lot of aspirations.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
What did you do?
Well, so I was hiking with this ranger for a little while. We crossed this river together. She was like my size or even smaller. We hiked together for a while, and then I stopped to eat lunch, and she kept going. I ran into her like an hour later, and she was like a little stressed out. She had been sitting on a rock eating a snack, and this young like juvenile male bear just like, they do this thing where they false charge just to like see how you're gonna react, where they get really fucking close. She said he got like within 5 feet of her and like false charged her. She had a shovel with her because she was doing some trail maintenance, so she just like smacked it on the ground as he was coming, and he got scared and like ran up a tree.
Pussy.
I know. But then she was like,
he has no idea how strong he is. He would have totally won that fight.
Yeah, she was tiny. Like, she was smaller than me. Yeah, and so then she was like, well, he's still right there in the tree. So she tried to, like, smack the shovel again to scare him off. And he just, like, looked at her. Like, what are you gonna do? She was like, well, shit. So then she started walking away. And when you walk away from a bear, you're supposed to, like, face them. So you can, like, talk to them and stuff.
So she turned around.
Yeah, so she was facing the bear and walking backwards, and like he just followed her for like a mile. Ooh. And then she was like, fuck this, and just like turned around and like hiked out, and eventually ran into some other people, and the bear got bored and like went off. But yeah, they're out there.
Does she have a gun?
No, nothing.
Fuck.
Yeah.
I bet
I'm bringing a gun.
Significant percentage of people are not armed.
Like, I'm bringing an AR.
And prepared for that kind of.
I'm going to war with the wilderness. If I ever go out there.
The problem with a gun is it's heavy, and you don't want to carry an extra weight.
Fucking don't care.
And like,
I'd rather have a heavy weight on my back and be like, my shoulders are sore, than like, my face is getting ripped apart by a fucking bear. My ass is eaten fucking ass first. That's what they say. They say they're like, because it smells the best for them. They just go in there and they're like, that's where all the organs are. Let's go. And they eat you ass first. No thanks. I'm going to fucking shoot everything. Bro, fuck that.
Oh my god.
I'm going like a fucking military guy. I'm like, what are you doing? Just hiking.
Oh my god. The other hikers.
I'm just terrified of the wilderness.
Like 2 ARs.
The other hikers are gonna be like, what the fuck?
I have like a fucking like the Terminator thing, like a rocket launcher that pops out of my shoulder. It's like targeting things.
Oh,
what's your plan?
Now?
If a bear.
With a bear, you yell, "Hey bear!" And that's pretty much it.
Hey, don't you do that? That's not very nice, Mr. Bear.
Just talk it down a little bit.
He's like, whoa. I've never really thought about it. It is just kind of rude to eat people.
Yeah, I did watch the entire. Have you seen Alone?
Oh yeah.
Yeah. So my nighttime activity is I would watch like half an episode of Alone, the one where they drop them with like the grizzly bears.
Tundra, yeah.
Yeah, and they just yell at the bears.
That's cool.
And they have poppers, just loud noises. None of them got eaten by bears.
Yeah, none of those bears are hungry.
I mean, they're pretty hungry. I think they're pretty.
I don't know. I bet there's a fucking river nearby. Wait till you find a hungry bear. The bear's not gonna get scared of shit. He's gonna like. You can throw those poppers on its face, and it's just gonna look at you.
I think I've seen a video of like some dude. They had like dynamite or fireworks or something, and they were just throwing them like near the bear, and the bear would just kind of like wander off and then come back.
Yeah,
didn't give a fuck.
That's so scary, dude. And they will track you for like 3 miles.
Yeah,
they will fucking find you.
There's mountain lions. Those are scary.
Those are way scarier. They're faster.
You're not gonna see them.
They're like jiu-jitsu athletes.
Yeah.
Like a bear is just big. Yeah. So you're just like you're fucked.
Like a bad heavyweight.
But like a mountain lion is like you think for a second maybe because you're kind of the same size, but then you get slapped by it and you're like, have you seen those where the way they run at you? Have you seen that video?
Can you do that again?
They're like on their hind legs and they run like this.
Oh god. Oh yeah.
And it's the scariest. And they're like, and they're like bouncing off it. They're like using their tail to keep balance. It's like sweeping on the ground. It's so scary.
Yeah, I would take bear over mountain lion for sure. Hey bear, you can't hate mountain lion. Like it's not gonna get you anywhere.
Yeah, it's just gonna enjoy it more.
Yeah, exactly.
It's like, oh, look at this dumb motherfucking human.
Did you go with anyone?
No.
Just went on your own?
That's
Yeah.
fucking wild.
That's bold.
That's so cool.
But there's so many people out there. You meet people really quickly. Everyone's like so cool. So
You met any friends yet?
I did. Yeah, I invited everyone to my wedding.
Aww.
Yeah, it was really cute.
So you had a good wedding?
What? Yeah. December
Congratulations,
23rd,
by the way.
Christmas Eve. Thanks. Yeah.
Is he in Jordan right now still?
Yeah, he's in Jordan.
You're like, fuck it, we got married. You're like, peace out.
Yeah, all of his friends and family are like, what? But yeah, no, it's good. He's not super outdoorsy anyway, so he's like, as long as I don't have to poop outside,
Yeah.
like you do you.
Have you ever been pooping and someone walked by?
No, I've been really lucky, but I have seen other people pooping.
And they're like, oh, I'm sorry.
You're like, hey. They're like, hello. Yeah.
Nature calls.
Yeah, exactly.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah, it's really fun. I recommend it to everybody. It's a good trip. No complaints.
You gonna go back into jiu-jitsu?
Yeah, I'm really excited. I miss it.
Where are you gonna train? Are you gonna train at your husband's
Jordan.
place?
Yeah.
How is Jordan right now? Is Jordan?
Cool.
I've been
Chilling.
really. Jordan's chill.
Yeah.
Wow.
No
Did it-
fires.
How close is Pakistan to Jordan?
It's like 3 over.
What is
You got
3? Like 3
3 countries.
Okay.
You got Saudi Arabia on the border. You got Iraq on the border. Lebanon, Syria, Israel, Palestine. None of them are doing great.
Yeah.
But Jordan's
That's what
doing great.
That's what I've heard.
Yeah.
Jordan's kind of like slightly staying out of it. Right.
Well, yeah, I mean, America and like probably Israel too, just give them lots of money to be stable so that they can put all the refugees there.
Oh, so America is on Jordan's side.
Yeah.
Okay. Good.
Yeah.
Good.
Go Jordan.
Go Jordan.
We like them. Yeah.
Good. It's so crazy how fucking ignorant I am, like to any politics that are like I would like to say that I'm more knowledgeable on world politics than I'd say 80% of people I talk to, and I don't like really try that hard to keep up on it. But if you gave me a map, and we're like, where is Jordan? I'd be like, well, that's India, that's Russia.
China.
So somewhere in the
middle. Yeah. You'd be right.
But
yeah. It's been really nice not having a job because now I don't think about politics at all. So
yeah, it must be a
it's really
relief.
nice.
I bet that's super stressful.
Yeah, Ukraine kicked off like right after I quit my job, and I was like, not my problem.
You're like, oh my,
Bye.
thank God.
Yeah.
Whew, dodged a bullet.
Seriously.
So
Yeah,
you're
which
a
is nice.
conflict analyst?
Yeah.
So this is like probably like heavily tied into politics.
Yeah.
What exactly were you doing?
I was working for like UN projects and USAID projects, like humanitarian aid. So my job was just to like know a lot about really specific regions of Syria, so that if someone was like, okay, we have like $1 million to do a food project, like what should we do, where should we do it, and like what makes the most sense, and then I would work with them to kind of like develop programs and be like, you shouldn't work here because that's ISIS, and like this area is like where they throw the chlorine gas, so like maybe don't build a school there, and like stuff like that.
Shit.
And just try to, you know,
Is
sort
that
those situations out.
Is that intense? That sounds super intense.
It is, but it is intense. I was pretty burnt out at the end. It's pretty sad. I was like on all these WhatsApp groups for work, and they would just like send pictures of people like being beheaded all the time, and like people dying in the streets and all this stuff, and like bombs going off all the time. But also I was working remotely. I was in Jordan. Like I haven't been to Syria because only until really recently was it allowed or safe for Americans to go like for work. And I just never went. So I was always like safe and like living my normal life, like going to the bars with my friends and like training jiu-jitsu and whatever. But like it was just, so it was both.
Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. I had sort of like the same reaction as Araya, where I'm just like, the Middle East, like, isn't there a lot of bad shit going on there? I haven't watched news in like years, but when you think of the Middle East, you're just like, oh yeah, there's probably
War.
something
Yeah.
bad going on right there.
I'm so ignorant. I'm like, how do people even live there? Like everything on our
Yeah.
television is just, you go outside, you're gonna get beheaded.
Yeah.
And you're just like, how are people having lives? How do people even raise kids?
The interesting, and I'm sure it already exists, is like somebody who goes to those countries and does like the travel channel.
Yeah. Oh,
but
yeah.
like showing why it's actually really cool to go to Jordan and not super fucked up all the time.
There's a comedian that went there. Who was it? Did you see that one?
Bert Kreischer, maybe?
No, it was like some comedian who went to Jordan. He like went to a bunch of places. Did he go like with his dad? Or there was someone in the show that just hated traveling. That was a comedian. I don't know. But they go to Jordan and they do this whole bit where it's like Petra, you know, which is like the ancient city carved into the rock. And they were going to do this like fancy thing where they sleep inside of Petra, which is like, but he was like, no, fuck that. I don't want to sleep inside of Petra because I can't see it. I want to sleep in the cave like across from Petra so I can wake up and like then it's there or whatever. But yeah, that's actually a really good episode. They do a lot of Jordan stuff. But Jordan's really cool. Lebanon is also amazing to travel to. You can like ski and go swimming in the same day. They have like a little ski resort. The mountains are amazing. Jordan's beautiful. Palestine's beautiful.
What made you originally like
go there?
Decide like I think I want to go to Jordan?
I studied. When I was a senior in high school, it was the thank you. The Egyptian Revolution happened, and I remember I was just like in my suburban little home in Buffalo, like playing soccer and eating pizza, and on the TV it was like all these other like 18-year-olds that were like in Tahrir Square, like doing this like revolution thing. I'm like, oh, that's pretty cool. I wonder, that's really different than what I'm doing. And I also love languages, and Arabic is really hard. Yeah. So I was like, I want to do a different language that's hard. So those two things just kind of like happened at the same time. And then studied Arabic in college for like a semester, and then got this opportunity, like wrangled this opportunity to go to Palestine, which was the first time I'd ever been abroad. So I went there when I was 19 and like helped rebuild this house that had been demolished by like the Israeli army, and like learned a ton. I thought it was so interesting. It was so different than anything I'd ever experienced. It was like really eye-opening. And then went back there like 4 or 5 times and then just got kind of stuck. I think in retrospect, if I was like, where do I want to spend my 20s? Like conservative Muslim Middle East, like maybe I would have like rethought that a little bit. But like on the path that I was on at the time, it just like kind of happened. It made sense. And now I'm there. But it's funny like what you're scared of when you're little. Like I was just in Ecuador a few months ago. One of my friends was trying to get me to
casually drops that.
I'm unemployed, so I can just do whatever I want. So.
It's so crazy. Like I'm unemployed and I'm traveling the world. It makes no sense to me. I have a job and I can't even imagine how I could even save money to go travel.
Well, if you are an international working like abroad, you get paid a stupid amount of money.
Really?
Yeah, and you don't have to pay taxes.
Oh yeah, you were telling me that.
Yeah. So you can like save money really easily. I also still live until I get like started dating a real person who like likes clean things. I was like living like a college kid for the first 5 years that I was there, so saved a lot of money. But yeah, it's funny what you're scared of. When I was in Ecuador, one of my friends was trying to get me to do a trip with him through Mexico, like a backpacking trip, and I was like, no, that's so scary. Like that's where everyone dies and gets beheaded. And he's like, you lived in the fucking refugee camps in Palestine and you won't go to Mexico? I'm like, yeah, that's scary. Like people have been telling me that Mexico's scary since I was little. But no one thought to tell me, like, Palestine was scary.
My best friend's sister just moved to Mexico with her boyfriend, like, a year ago. And she's, like, my little sister. Like, we were best friends since, like, first grade. And I'm so scared for her. Like, they have family in Mexico, and they're from Mexico. But it's, like, Mexico is dangerous regardless. They don't care if you're Mexican. Yeah. They're going to, like, the cartels are so out of control right now. Wasn't there like a video where like the cartel pulled up on jet skis in like Cabo and just shot people? It was fucking insane. It was like out of a Bond film. Like what the fuck? You just can you even imagine murdering someone on a jet ski? You know how fun and like innocent jet skis are? Oh they're like smiling and they're like, oh yeah, gotta fucking kill all these people on the beach just enjoying their day.
You can transport your bear rig. You can go from like woods to jet ski.
Dude. Oh my goodness.
But yeah, I don't know. My theory is that scary things are only scary until you do it. Yeah. I'm sure if I did that trip in Mexico, it would be amazing. And it would be fine and safe.
I mean, statistically, you're probably going to be okay.
Yeah.
But also statistically,
I don't want to be
7 out of 10 murders in Mexico go unsolved. Or not even unsolved, just anything. They're not even looked into. 7 out of 10. That's 70% of the people murdered in Mexico. Are not looked for, not searched for. They just assume it's cartels, and then they move the fuck on.
Like, I have a friend in Mexico right now, and I've been calling him every day.
He's dead.
I'm just talking to, like, a pre-recorded voice.
Yeah. They're like, you're going to go missing, so we're going to make you record some voicemails. And that way, if your family tries to contact you.
Yeah, I wonder, it's only, you said you like a backpacking trip in Mexico?
Yeah. Not like outdoor, like Euro trip backpacking.
Okay.
Stumble upon like a cocaine.
You go from like hostel to hostel and party and like whatever. Like one of those.
God, that sounds so cool though.
But a lot of people,
like the most dangerous way to travel in Mexico is to go to every city in Mexico.
Yeah. I think you like have to go to the right ones, and you like kind of know where to go, and you can like figure it out. Because when I was, some of the people I was with in Ecuador had just done it, and they said it was amazing, so much fun, like beautiful. So, yeah, I don't know.
They're the lucky ones.
Yeah.
They didn't tell you about the 7 people that were with them that aren't there anymore.
Yeah, apparently one of the guys, one of the PCT guys I was hiking with, was telling me he had been hiking with this guy in the desert, and there was a billboard in Southern California for like, was it I don't know if it, maybe like strippers or something, I don't know, one of those, and he like texted the number like as a joke, and then for like 100 miles he was getting phone calls, messages, texts like, we're gonna murder you, we're gonna behead you, like we're coming for you, like all this stuff. It's pretty scary.
That's just on a billboard? Yeah. Is that number?
Yeah.
Holy fuck.
That's scary. Well, I'm sure Mexico's beautiful.
That's a movie scary. Like, that's like...
But they can't come. They can't actually come for you.
What do you mean?
Know where you
geolocate your number. If you stay on the phone long... Have you seen the like recent pictures of like the Mexican cartels?
No.
You know they make over like $100 billion a year in just drug money? And they've been using that money to buy military equipment. They look more decked out than our military. Like, they don't look like you would see, like, in, like, a small town, just some guy shirtless with a gun and another his homie with a machete. That's not what the cartel is anymore. Bro, these are, like, elite military, like, trained fucking killers. And they're just casually walking around in, like, SWAT gear.
Yeah.
With, like, the most advanced military weaponry you can buy. Like, it's, like, no joke anymore. And then they'll take you back to their warehouse. And then, like, I saw a video. I don't know if you guys ever watch those fucking websites. I have a problem.
Stay away from that shit.
I have a problem because I have to, like, this is probably why I'm so scared of bears. But, like, I have to know how fucked it is. That way, if I ever see the fucked, I don't get as fucked.
Like
you know what I mean?
Andrew Tate, that video, your mom's house.
Is that what he says?
Yeah, he's talking about, like, watching heavy clips because it prepares you for when the real thing happens.
I think it does. I think he's right. He's 100% right.
Yeah, but
he's 100% right because you can't like when you see the heavy shit happen. I saw this video of a Russian soldier Russian soldier in Ukraine, shell shocked, and it's like I've seen dead bodies. I've seen people like watch other people die in front of not me personally, but like on these videos, and even in the war in Ukraine, just watching people get blown the fuck up. Like, you know, but there's something that was so absolutely terrifying about someone being shell-shocked. Because he's recording, and, like, there's this moment where he's, like, filming, and there's, like, people, like, lying on this, like, bridge, and they're, like, dead. His other friend is, like, laying down. And he's, like, ah.
Jesus Christ.
And then he's, like, he, like, turns the camera to himself, and he's, like, and you're, like, holy fuck, because like I've never, and he's like a hard looking dude, but his eyes were just open, and it didn't look like he was trying to keep them open. Like he was just stuck like that, just perpetually like. And I'm sure you see these, but you're a fucking conflict analyst. You've seen this shit.
I don't go out of my way to like watch.
I do.
That stuff.
I'm pretty fucked up.
No, I can't.
But it's interesting because you get to see the reality of, because I think about it a lot too. Because like my grandfather was in Vietnam. At 17. I was just trying to get laid at 17. I wasn't fucking in the middle of the jungle, crawling through fucking, and he's small, so they made him crawl through those fucking tunnels that they dug, and you can't, you have to crawl backwards to get out. They're so small, and if you meet someone in there, good luck. Hope you win. Hope they don't have a gun, and hope they don't see you first. And he's 17. He watched like his best friend get blown up or some shit, like on Christmas. It's the craziest shit. And then, so I think to myself, it's like, especially with like World War III, like on the brink of like, I mean, hopefully it doesn't happen, but fuck, it looks close, doesn't it? Like, could you imagine? Like, you and me, we're all draft worthy now. I don't know. You're a Jordan citizen. You might be scot-free.
Not anymore. Not yet.
Oh, not yet?
Yeah. I feel like they'll take the girls, but they don't mean it. Like, I feel
They
like
don't
it's
mean
safe.
it.
Yeah.
They're like, let you sit in the office.
Yeah, exactly. Like, you guys are fucked, but I think I'll be okay.
With the military, is just super sexist like that. Like, they'll take the women, but they just only cook.
Yeah.
Man. Yeah, sorry to get on that dark tangent, but I was just thinking, it's so crazy, right? Like, how soft we are as, like, how we are now. Like, we're so, I mean, there's so many other countries that force you to join the military for a few years. Like Korea, I know, is it Pakistan or Palestine?
A lot of them.
A lot of the Middle East countries, right? I would say, like, probably most of the world forces you to join their military for a few years as you graduate high school. And I mean, most of the countries in conflict. So a lot of those kids are going to fucking war. You know what I mean? And it's one, and men, I know, was it maybe it's Palestine or Jerusalem? One of them, it's like women soldiers too. So it's not just men, it's women as well. And
you sound like an old man, dude.
I do. Like, fearful of the world ending.
Yeah.
I think people spend a lot, especially now in America, like, it's something I've noticed when I come back, people spend a lot of time worrying about things. It's, like, really not their problem.
Yeah.
Or never going to actually happen to them. Like, people are, like, you know how many people in, like, the Deep South that are scared that, like, Antifa is going to break down their door? It's like, that's not going to happen. No one gives a shit about you. Like,
That's
you're
true.
fine.
You're right.
You know?
I am overreacting.
I think a lot of people spend a lot of time worrying about stuff that's just never going to happen to them.
You say that, and then fucking Russia's going to be like, bomb Hawaii or some shit.
So Hawaii's so far away.
But it would make, like, no more vacations
To Hawaii. Wow.
Yeah.
My life is so hard.
Oh, dude, people would be upset. Where are we supposed to go? Yeah.
I feel like that's all just short-sighted, like, bullshit, though. Basically.
Short-sighted?
Yeah.
How? Isn't it terrifying that we've never been trained? Like, because we have the luxury of, like, sitting in a country where that we might not ever go to war, right? Like on our soil. But what the fuck are we like? You know how fucking useless we would be if we had to. Like, no one's trained.
That's what drones are for.
Yeah, we do have way better. That's a good point. The technology is fucking insane right now. You're right. You're right.
I don't think hand-to-hand combat or, like, even, like, the special ops teams or whatever, the people that are on those teams, and this is true for other countries too, like, those people, a lot of them are military families. Mm-hmm. They've wanted to be in the military for a long time. They're highly trained. Most countries that have conscription, like, even in the Middle East and places that are a little spicier, like, it's still so easy to get out of. Like, Jordan has conscription. I don't know anyone who's actually gone. They're just like, I'm a student. I'm a whatever. And they don't go.
Smart.
In Israel, they do it when they're, like, all 19.
Israel is what I was talking about earlier.
But it's just, like, I mean, there are some people probably that are really into it and learn a lot. There's a lot of stuff that's fucked up about it. But mostly it's, like, basically a breeding program where they just try to get all the attractive, young, horny people together to, like, marry other Israelis. And that's, like, really
so
kind of
much
the vibe.
sense. Have you ever, like, if you look at, like, Israeli army women, they're all, like, fucking, like, America's Next Top Model, like, drop dead gorgeous.
And
I
it's,
swear
like,
to God.
super sexualized, like, very macho culture. Like, that's the whole, like, vibe.
Interesting. Wow,
So
what an interesting
like,
angle.
Yeah.
So, of all of your years as a conflict analyst, what do you see as, like, the most common problems occurring that are, like, why are these occurring? Like, they're so common. It's like, let me ask you this way: is there any substrate of conflict that you are privy to that just seems pointless?
I like all of
Avoid
it.
all
honestly.
of it. Wow. That's so scary to hear.
It's really
that's terrifying.
It's frustrating. I don't know. I think a lot of it like kind of boils down to like it's something innate in human nature to like have conflict. Mm-hmm. And then there's also people, maybe everyone, but definitely certain people that are just like really want to have power and gain power and more recognition and like all that stuff. So then there's just always kind of gonna be conflict. I think a big issue right now is like, I think we've talked about this before, like our psychology is not created for the kind of world that we're living in. Like our brains were developed to like live in tribes of like 30 people and like maintain that many relationships and maybe fight with the other tribe. And if we get upset with our tribe, we like go to a different one. And we like, it's basically like hiking the PCT. You're like, I'm just gonna like do a little 6 hours of physical labor every day and like try to make some friends. And if I don't like them, I'm just gonna go
find new
like
friends,
walk faster or slower and find some new friends. And like, I could tell when I'm like on the trail, I'm like, oh, this is like what my brain was made for. Like I think about food most of the day. I think about water, and then I have some like social interaction, and it's like beautiful. And I'm really tired at the end of the day, and I sleep for 10 hours, and then I do it again. And it like just feels so good and simple and like fulfilling. But you like take that same brain and you put it in like the world we have now. It's like so complicated with technology, way more people. Trying to like, everyone has different cultures, different values, trying to like make those work or not work. And how upset should I be if you don't agree with me? And how upset should you be? And like all this stuff. It's like super complicated and super hard.
Do you think that you could pour yourself out permanently from that, or?
No, we're like in it.
Yeah.
We're here.
Yeah.
I don't think it's gonna change.
But it's just nice to have that like break even for a little bit.
Oh yeah, it just feels really good. I wish everybody could do it. Like I feel so much less stressed.
I noticed that same feeling just going to like a lake for a day.
Yeah.
Like if you just go to Tahoe for a day, I've never like most tired I ever am is when I do nothing in Tahoe. Yeah. And then I go home and I'm like, oh, I could sleep for fucking 7 years. And then I go to bed and I wake up so refreshed.
Yeah.
It makes zero sense.
No, there's something in your brain. They've done studies where you take someone out for the weekend and they'll have like positive impacts for like 2 months on their just like mental state and everything. It even works. They've tried it where it's like they just have people look at like a nature screensaver and like smell some outdoor smells and like put outdoor music, and you get like a little bit bump and like endorphins and all this stuff. We're like not made to live inside, you know? We're made to like have nice views and like smell things. Like my sense of smell got way stronger after being outside for 2 months. I was walking around Seattle in the market.
And you're just like, oh.
I was like, oh my God, everything smells like, there's so many smells.
That's crazy.
Yeah, it's really
I never
crazy.
even thought about that.
I think everyone should go outside. But a lot of people don't have access to outdoors. Like in Jordan, like you can't. You have to drive far. People like don't have time for that. They don't even like know the concept of like going to hang out outside. It's just like really weird to people, and people are so stressed. And I think that's like a big part of the reason.
Wow.
A big part of like the issues. People would just be happier. People should also probably learn to meditate. That would help.
Do you meditate?
Yeah. I started like right around COVID.
Really?
And I've been really keeping it up. I think it's great. Like I know you said you were like I can just not think about nothing forever, and it doesn't do anything for me, right?
Yeah, there's I've lately gotten better with that. So there's like I can just think about nothing and I'm fine. Like I would say in terms of like meditation, I'm in like the top tier of people who can meditate off the bat, like naturally.
Yeah.
And then
send you something.
It's super weird. I can just like sit there and like zone out, and not like zone out where you're like thinking of thoughts, but like just nothing, just nothingness. And it gets to the point where like I just get bored, but not even like I've already been bored for like an hour, and now I'm like, I just have stuff to do, so I'm gonna start doing like don't get any benefit.
Have you ever tried a float tank?
No, but you know what did change for me though is when I started doing my own guided meditations, and that flipped everything.
I was gonna say, yeah.
That was the biggest difference. Is I was like, oh, when they say just sit there and focus on that's just like the entry level thing.
That's just teaching people to
That's just sit with your thoughts and don't let them take control of you. Just move through it. So what I've been doing is I've been like working through scenarios in my head. And like one of the craziest things that I found out discovered upon this was chakras. And I've only seen the pictures. I've maybe heard them described once or twice, but I've never looked into it.
Say chakras?
Yeah. There's like, I don't know, 7 chakras, but there's like the ground. And then I don't know what the names are for all of them, but I have, there's like the ground, I mean, like your pelvis or sacrum or whatever it's called. And then there's your stomach, and then there's your heart, your throat, and then your mouth head area, and then my brain, and then I put one above. So I don't know if I have the same number, but it's so similar. And I was like, oh, these are all just things that, one, they all have different intentions, and they all see the world differently. Like all these parts of your body. You always want to ground yourself because you're grounding yourself to reality and truth. And then you move through like your desires and your hunger, and then your heart helps you guide you towards truth, and you ground all of those to the ground chakra, right? That's what I do in my meditation. And then once I'm in that state, I can start looking in I call it the Objective Chakra, the one that's above you, that's like witnessing you in the third person. And then I can just be there. And then you're almost like talking to what I call a source. And then source is just so nice. And it's like, you can ask for anything and we'll give it to you. Like, you go ahead, just ask for it. And I'm like, really? Like, I'll have these like insane conversations, almost like mushrooms, honestly.
I was gonna say, how many psychedelics are you doing while this is occurring?
No. But it really is almost like mushrooms. And maybe it's because I've taken mushrooms in the past before I got to this point, and so I have more of a connection with things like that. But I was like, it really is life changing.
Yeah, I'm gonna send you this free 30-day thing to the app that I use. Do you know Sam Harris?
Yes, that's Wakeful. Don't you use that app too?
Do you use Waking Up?
Yeah,
Waking Up?
Blue pays for the subscription. I just take advantage of it.
So you listen to guided meditations?
All the time.
I did that too. They're so helpful.
Do the 30-day thing.
Okay.
Because he's really cool, because he's not, like, he starts obviously with the concentration stuff, but his whole thing is like non-self, non-dual, whatever. So it's different than the Vipassana, where you're just like trying to like be exactly in the moment as the moment is occurring, which is cool and really useful for like being like, oh, I'm having an emotion right now. Like,
yeah.
That's nice to be aware of.
Yeah, well, being in touch with yourself.
Which is really nice, because I didn't know how to do that before I started meditating. But he's more like conscious, like all there is awareness, and the self is an illusion. And if you live like that, life is better. And the longer you can spend in your day being aware of that, the better you'll be.
I think self is a construction. I don't like the idea of illusion, because then it sounds like there's just something else creating it, right?
But I mean, like our brains.
Yeah, our brains, right? But I mean, if we have any domain, like that's what the point of meditation is to achieve some domain of control over your intrusive thoughts or whatever it is.
That's like
an awareness.
That's more like a CBT, like de-stressing version of meditation. His like perspective, I think, would be the point of meditation is to like see reality for what it is, and that's that we have no self and there is no free will, and we are just consciousness and its contents. There is no we. There is only consciousness and their contents, which is really different than like I am not my thoughts. Like it's a lot more than that.
Yeah, no, I know. Yeah, it is super interesting.
Have you ever read his book on free will?
Yeah.
I don't think I have.
I read it like twice, and it's like.
Do you hate it because you're like, I want free will?
I hate it because I'm like, I wish I understood this more.
I respect that.
I battle really hard with the idea of free will. I think there might be a duality at place.
Yeah.
Because... So I'm not sure if the thing that is the thoughts, that is the meat vehicle that whatever our consciousness is a part of or manifests from. I don't know how much consciousness steers reality. However, I think it is some sort of reality in itself. I mean, it's the only thing that's real. Like, we don't have an actual interface to reality, right? Like, there is no true objective reality that we can ever touch. We just kind of create this concept of reality in our head and through our consciousness or whatever it is. And so I wonder how much whatever is creating that affects the nature of reality, or just how strange the nature of reality truly is, and if these things are connected at all, if they're completely separate and one's just, it's like watching a movie.
Yeah.
So I don't know. I battle with that a lot because I'm not sure. at all.
I think that I've just done enough psychedelics where I'm like, yeah, we don't know shit. Like, I totally
We
believe
just
that
don't
there's
know.
no free will, and
Yeah.
we are just in this, like, vision, this perspective that's, like, very convincing, but, like, it's not even
I
close
think that's like
to
one of
what's
the
happening.
most enlightened things you can say is like, I have no idea.
No fucking
Yeah,
idea.
because like, who are you to even know?
I think
Yeah.
that's like, those
Yeah.
are the people I connect with most. That are just like, dude, I don't know what the fuck. Why are you asking me? Like, okay,
Yeah.
I get you.
Because it's so, because you got to be wary of the people who are like, I know exactly what's going on, and it's like, oh, you might not know, which means if you're wrong, you're crazy. Like, you're absolutely crazy, because like, what do crazy people do besides believe in a reality that doesn't exist? So if someone like has beliefs in reality that they can't actually prove to you, because it's like spiritual sort of understanding of things, and they try to convince you that they're right, they might be absolutely fucking insane.
Yeah.
Maybe not in like a dangerous way, but it is worrisome.
I really think, like, everybody's job is just to, like, figure out what belief system works for them and, like, what serves them well and, like, makes them a good person, makes them, like, kind to other people, like, contribute to the world. It doesn't really matter what it is, but if you're, like, doing that, like, then it's good, you know? And, like, what works for me is, like, there's no free will. Like, there's no real, like, you know, a lot of this is, like, an illusion. There's so much that we don't understand. You only get one shot at life, and you just gotta, like, do your best. And that's, like, pretty much it, you know?
And just live,
Yeah.
really. Just live and live kindly.
Yeah. And, like, I like the no free will thing because it takes a lot of pressure off. Because I do something stupid, it's like, well,
I was
that was
destined.
always going to happen. Like, that's all I could have done in that moment. That was all there was. And now we're here, and, like, we're just going to move forward.
Yeah, because there's something weird that we only technically exist in the memory of what
Yeah.
happened. Even though it's like a microsecond behind, it's still, that's the only place that we exist, is in the memory of the moment.
Yeah,
And so whatever was going to happen already happened anyway. So
Yeah.
there is a good argument that there is no free will.
Yeah. Yeah, I like it. It might not work for someone who, like, needs more autonomy and, like, control. I tend to, like, put so much pressure on myself that it, like, helps me just be like, it's okay. You're doing your best. Like, you did a good job. Like, that's all you could have done. And then just, like, move on.
Yeah.
But I can see where other people are, like, really don't like it.
Like super nihilists,
Yeah.
where they're like, great,
Then what's the point?
there's no point already, and I still can't do anything
Yeah, I
about it.
can't.
Fuck.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
Like, those people, I can totally see that.
And then they
Like,
just
really
rot
annoying
away
for
in
them.
their sofa. That's actually what a lot of philosophers talk about as one of the things that we deal with is it's like phasic. It's like people will reach that level of nihilism where they're like, oh, there's no point to anything. Okay. Very existential, scary sort of idea. No one's going to remember you. No one's going to remember anything. There's not going to be anything to remember. If
Which
you
is
know,
fine.
which
But,
you,
like,
but-
I like having fun.
yeah, and
Like hanging out with my friends
And see,
like,
that's-
training jujitsu.
that's how you bridge that chasm, though. Is a
Yeah.
lot of people don't understand that. They think, okay, well, there's no point to anything, so why do anything?
Yeah.
Also, there's no free will, so whatever I do is always what I was going to do. So people spiral into this concept, and I think it's very hard. And I think it's it's like one of the first like leaps of faith you have to take is, you know, I get to still create whatever this is, even if there is no free will. The second you have that thought, you have the space to be able to create the thing, right?
Or the way I look at it is like, I think the ultimate truth is like no free will. There's just consciousness and its contents, all that. I like really buy that. But also, I'm like a very flawed, non-enlightened person, and my illusion of reality, where like I enjoy fun and I don't like being sad and like whatever, is like very real also to me, in a like non-ultimate truth way, but in like a this is how I live most of my life way, and to me that matters too, because that's where I spend most of my time, is like not meditating and being like
Yeah.
ultimate reality, or like on mushrooms and being like it's love. And most of the time it's like, you motherfucker just cut me off. And like, I'm gonna tailgate you, and you're actually really big, so I'm just gonna turn now. And like, go have a good day. And that's like where I spend most of my time.
I can see you actually laughing and smiling the whole time that took place.
Yeah.
Like, you motherfucker.
And then they look at me and they're like, "Do you need some help? Are you okay? Like, are you about to be attacked by a cougar?" Like, yeah.
No, I like that perspective. And I think that to hear it from someone like you who's like actually living life, like I feel like you live life more than 90% of the people on this planet do.
I think people are scared. People are just scared to do stuff.
I'm
And the
pretty
older
terrified.
the older you get,
Me too,
the older
yeah.
you get and the longer you're scared of doing things, the like less likely you are to like go do things. I think.
Yeah.
And if you like you're around other people or like media or whatever that tells you everything is scary, then you just like the amount of people like I tell them going to do something. I just don't tell people what I'm doing anymore. This is the first time I've ever posted stuff on Instagram because everyone's just like,
oh my God, be safe.
be safe.
I'm pretty sure that was I was pretty sure that was me.
I
think that I think that first
like
I
a
was
really
like, be
nice
Yeah,
place.
that
safe.
shit drives me nuts,
Yeah.
honestly. When I got back from my backpacking trip,
Yeah.
my brother, he's like, he like had a serious moment where he's like, so you went backpacking, huh? I was like, yeah, it was pretty cool. He's like, what did you like, how did you protect yourself? And I'm like, dude, there was so many people. Like, I was actually shocked by how many people were out there and how not alone I was. He's like, well, yeah, but it doesn't matter. You still have to protect, like, something could happen at any moment in time. And I'm like, something can happen at any moment in time right here
That's what I tell everybody.
in this house.
But you are sort of increasing.
But
It's
you know how
not
many people do the
at
PCT
all. In
every
fact,
year?
I think this
Like no one dies.
very
fair. Fair
consistently
point.
is the most dangerous thing out in nature or in the city is people. Like 100% of the time, the most scary thing is like, oh, there might be a serial killer out here who just enjoys like backpacking and killing people.
I had that
Like,
exact
that might
thought.
just be his pastime.
People really are the scariest.
I went shopping in Rayleigh's, and it's like, you know, it's nice in Rayleigh's, and you're like, ding ding, and like, okay, have a nice day, thank you for shopping in Rayleigh's, and then you like walk out into the fucking parking lot. It's like night. There's like two people. There's like a guy over there on the side under the light. And he's like, and you're like, oh my God.
The bear.
Yeah, it's a bear, dude.
Yeah.
I would be the type
No,
of person
people
who
are
gets killed by a
scariest.
bear in like the middle of the city
I
because I'm
would-
so scared of it.
The only bear incident that happened on the PCT this year, some guy was camping like in town at this like hostel that lets you pitch your tent outside, and a bear literally tripped over him in the night. He broke his rib. The bear was like, "What the fuck?" He just like ran off. The guy like broke his rib. Isn't that
shit.
insane?
Oh my God, that does tell you like how strong bears are though.
They're really
Like
strong.
the bear just fucking accidentally like stumbled onto you.
But they also don't really want to eat people. That's like not really their
Yeah.
like thing. They're like, "Oh shit!" And
Yeah.
they run away.
They're usually going for your food, right?
Yeah. Yeah, it's funny.
No, that's a good point.
No, people are scary. The only time I've actually been scared on the PCT is like when we're close to a town, and then like you'll see day hikers and people with their guns and and like just people that are you're like I don't know like about
Yeah.
you know you're like doing really drunk or whatever.
Yeah.
But when I'm out like usually go like 6 or 7 days between towns. When you're in the middle, like I'm not scared at all. It feels really safe and like
It's like
Shit and
everyone
stuff.
out there is accomplishing the same thing, really.
exactly.
It's like a very universal mindset. Like,
Yeah.
like, oh, like, do you know where this trail goes? I'm kind of lost.
You're like, was there water up there?
yeah.
Yeah, it's really nice.
That's super interesting because now the conspiracy part of my brain is kicking in, where I'm like, why are we so conditioned to be scared of nature? Isn't that like literally our entire history is
Yeah.
living in the fucking wilderness with things that could kill us at any second? Not that like, you know, we built houses because it sucks when your kids get eaten by, you know, mountain lions, you know, but like you said, like even going back to just how good it is for your brain
Yeah.
and how like healthy it feels and how like, you know, it makes you probably emotionally stable. You're out there and you just feel good. You feel connected to things. And then like, I'm sure when you go back to the city, you just, it's like all this commotion and you're just like, like it just starts to kind of hurt a
And,
little
like,
bit.
American cities, I don't know if this is true, like, when I still lived here. I've been gone for a while, but, like, American cities are really scary at night.
Oh
Has it
yeah.
always been like that?
Yeah.
Oh, my God, it's scary. I forget, because in Jordan, you can go out any time of the night. No one's going to do anything to you.
I would never have guessed that. I wouldn't even
there's
think you
no
could go
drugs.
outside in Jordan.
Because there's no drugs. What's
Uh-huh.
scary about going out in the middle of the night in a city is people are high and, like, erratic.
Yeah.
That's what's scary to me. The people who are yelling and just like you can't predict like what they're doing because they're just like tweaking or whatever.
I'm less scared of those people.
And then the people who have guns.
I'm scared of those people.
Yeah. So you just assume
I'm scared
that
of people
everyone
who
has a
aren't
gun.
high who want to rob me.
Yeah.
But like the angry people, like the angry erratic people, and then some people are just out of their mind. I had this guy screaming at me on the train, just like picked me to make eye contact with and was just screaming at me.
Yeah,
and I was like,
you reminded him of his wife.
Your problem for sure.
It's really scary, but in Jordan that doesn't happen because there's no drugs and there's no guns, and like there's like.
Is there homeless people?
No, there's no homeless people because
Do they kill them?
No, there's better.
Is it illegal to be homeless in Jordan?
I mean, they probably do like round some of them up, and just put them somewhere. But
we do that shit too.
Mostly because there's a lot of like social safety nets. Because if someone's homeless and you figure out what their last name is, it like reflects badly on the whole family, like the whole tribe.
Oh,
so someone will find someone to take them in, like a cousin, second cousin, whatever. So everyone's like taken care of at least in that way. So there's not really homeless people, which helps like with mental illness and like something extreme. Whatever, stuff that makes cities scary here. Mm-hmm. And yeah, and also if you do something stupid at night, like you try to assault someone or whatever, it's the same. Like your family gets involved and they're like, what the fuck are you doing? And then the other family gets involved and it's like a whole thing.
It's like Romeo and Juliet.
Yeah, basically. So it just doesn't really happen.
It kind of seems like the scariest person is the person who like doesn't have those connections. Like, the person that doesn't have that family doesn't think
That's
about.
so insightful.
They're the most vulnerable also, though.
Yeah.
So if they do something, then the whole family of the person that they mess with is going to, like, come down.
But maybe that's why
and
they're so, like, high-strung, too, because they realize their vulnerability.
Yeah.
And then they lash out.
That's
but
probably
it just doesn't happen.
A huge part of, like, why America, like...
Yeah.
No, like, in Jordan, like, you have the safety net, right?
Yeah.
But, like, we don't have that in America.
Exactly.
So the vulnerable people become... I mean, of course that's true. I mean, look at, like, ghettos.
Yeah.
Look at, like, all of the inner city shit.
Well, and it's
look at Chicago.
That's what individualism is, right? Like, you make your own fate, but if you fuck up, you're on your own, too.
Right.
You know? So that's the flip side of that. Mm-hmm. And, like, I left the house when I was 18. I'm not, like... haven't been back, you know, like been making my own money, all that stuff since I was 18. Hyder had to like fight. Well, Hyder didn't, but
Hyder's her husband.
My fiance.
You guys aren't married yet?
Well, we are under the Islamic law, but not under the American law.
Oh, do you remind him of that constantly?
Yeah, I like channel between calling him like boyfriend, fiance, husband, and then like homie and other stuff, and he really doesn't like it. He's like, let's just go with husband, and I'm like, no.
Not yet.
No, not yet. Yeah, poor Hyder.
Oh.
He puts up with a lot.
That's so funny.
But yeah, he moved in with me, which is really like unheard of. We got really lucky. His family's like pretty chill. But then his little brother, who's like the only other son, who's now 28, so like an adult, was like, wow. I also will now move out. But he is not dating anyone or anything. He just wanted to get in his own apartment. And it was like World War II. His
like
parents were like,
upon.
absolutely not. Like, you will not move out. Oh, you have to stay. Actually, he wanted to get a dog. And because Hyder's parents are Muslim, like in the Quran, it says you shouldn't have a dog in the house. And so Hamza was like, I'm going to go out and get a dog. And then his parents were like, no, you can't have a dog in the house. So basically, they got in this like big fight. And then they compromised. They had like addition to their house that was like a living room, so they just like cemented the door to the living room, and he like moved into his own home, so he has the dog in his home, so the dog doesn't come in their home, and he just like got a dog. They're good.
Is Islam the law in Jordan?
No, they have like
they have their own system. Is it very heavily influenced by Islam?
Yeah, like some of the stuff, but they were under the British mandate for a long time, so they have like that as a basis of law, and then there's
so
like
no one's gonna be like, if they find out there's a dog in his house, no one's gonna be like, that's a problem.
No, it's just like I don't know, not eating kosher or whatever.
Would his family have preferred that you moved in with him?
No, they would have preferred that we
married.
Didn't date, because people don't really date in Jordan. I mean, now they do, like our generation does, and we live in like the western part of the capital, like the wealthiest part. That's the most globalized, so it's like pretty normal there. But his parents didn't grow up like that, so they were like, well, probably would prefer that we didn't date in the first place. Definitely would prefer that we didn't live together without being married.
Yeah.
He's a fucking rule breaker.
But they just told people we got married after we'd been dating for like 6 months. So it was funny when we actually got married, because everyone was like, aren't you already married?
Like, we just really like the tradition.
We're just doing it again.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's fine. But they were really chill.
So doubling down on the.
Are they're like traditional culture? Just you don't date. It's like planned marriage.
Yeah. So they were a traditional marriage, like arranged marriage, basically.
Okay.
And that still happens a lot. A lot of my friends are turning like, they're in their early 30s now, the guys. And they're all like, I'm so cool, I'm going to date, I'm going to find a girl. And now they're like turning 32, 33. They're like, Mom, like, you got any ideas? It's
That's
really
so
funny.
funny.
Yeah.
But like, it's not really a bad system. Like, you find someone with similar values, like, you know, I don't know, if you really want to get married.
Yeah.
It does probably take a lot of the stress out of like meeting people. It's just like growing up knowing that your parents are going to find you someone.
Yeah. Yeah, I think it's gonna have both, I guess.
Oh, fuck no.
You gotta have fucking cool parents.
My mom's
though.
on her third husband. She's not picking the right people.
Not qualified.
Did she get married again?
Yeah.
So she's married to this guy now?
Yeah, they've been married. They got married during COVID, actually.
Oh, okay.
Like, right.
I think I remember that. Yeah.
Yeah.
I don't know. I remember the first one.
No, you don't.
Oh, no, I don't
the
remember.
my
No,
first- the
she was married to your
stepdad?
dad? She was married to your dad?
Yeah, for like 2 years or something.
Oh, okay.
Very brief.
So I remember the second one.
Yeah.
He was a fucking dickhead.
He was a cool guy.
Oh, yeah, sorry. Cool guy.
Yeah.
Cool guy. Man, that's so... You might be the only person I know that's like you. And like every facet. Like I don't know anyone who travels as much as you do, anyone who's like as worldly as you are.
Those go together.
Yes.
Really?
Sure. Yes.
Yeah.
You're right. Man, I need to get out of the States.
Yeah, come to Jordan. It's a great
I
place
should.
for like
I should just
a
fucking
beach
do it. Fuck it.
trip. It's a
Yeah.
really good trip.
I think
Mix it up.
I'm gonna try to go to Thailand next year. Hopefully, if the invite is still open.
Dude, I have to like go to, I'd have to be in Jordan and like on my way home before I tell my mom I went to Jordan.
That's what I do.
Like I would have to be like,
Yeah.
she'd have to like, we'd have to be like Thanksgiving and she'd be like, so where were you? I haven't heard from you in like a month. Like I was in Jordan. She'd be like, what the fuck?
That's
Dude,
exactly what I do.
the house would catch on fire from her rage. Just the heat of her anger.
Bring her with you. That'd be fun.
Dude, my mom, I don't know if she could handle Jordan.
Until
She
have a
really
guest
wants to
room.
travel though.
She
She
can-
really does.
We have a guest room. Our apartment's really nice now. We painted it. We have a tree.
Cool.
Yeah.
You do jujitsu?
We can train. Your mom can come.
They don't do tattoos in Jordan, do they?
Yeah. Haida
Is
has
it
a bunch of
legal?
tattoos. Yeah.
Is it legal in Jordan?
Yeah.
Oh, cool. I would love to get a Jordanian tattoo.
Yeah.
Is there like
That sounds
traditional
cool.
Jordanian tattoos?
No.
Oh.
I don't think it's part of the culture, but there are Jordanian tattoo artists that do tattoos.
That's
They,
pretty rad.
like they have like an art culture though.
Yeah.
Probably.
Yeah, definitely. I'm not super plugged into it, but I dated a guy who was like music, poetry actor, and all of his friends were like very artsy, and they
Yeah.
have those things.
Do you have any tattoos?
Yeah, I have this one that I got in Jordan from that guy's friend.
Mm-hmm.
It's pretty fucked up, and then I have one on my back and like two on my side.
You made a really good sales pitch for going to Jordan and getting tattoos.
This is not
Like this one that's really fucked up. I got it from that guy in Jordan.
No, this like, the guy was dating his roommate, and he had just decided like a week before that he wanted to learn how to tattoo, so he bought a gun, and we came home, we were really drunk, and he was like
Nice.
tattooing.
I have a foot.
Tattooing orange, and he was
Yeah.
like, "Ew," and I was like, "Me?" And I was like, "Sure."
That's cool.
That's rad.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I have one of those. It was a stick and poke, but my friend's like, "Hey, I want to try this." And I'm like, "Dude, you should do it on me."
I'm your canvas. Yeah,
What-
I don't regret it. It's funny though, because people always ask me like what it says, and I don't. It's like so fucked up.
You're like, I can't read it.
I don't even. It doesn't matter. It's not important.
It's like Jordanian cursive. You're like, I have no
I
idea.
could totally make it up. It's an Arabic, which no one is gonna be able to read. Even native Arabic speakers can't read it because it's so fucked up. So I could literally just say anything.
Yeah. You could make something like Traveler.
Yeah.
I'm gonna get a Death Squad tattoo.
Death Squad?
Yeah, you know what Death Squad is?
Like
Like Red Band.
Yeah.
Band's Network. Yeah.
I also think of like, so there's 2 death squads in my head. There's
not that.
There's
death
the
squad.
Donner death squad, which I
No.
think would be so funny if you got a death squad tattoo and don't do jujitsu
No.
at all.
Oh wait,
And they broke up.
Is that?
And they broke
Oh,
up.
it's like a jujitsu thing. I
Yeah.
thought you were because I think there's like a death squad like fucking Marvel.
Yeah,
thing.
that's what I was thinking.
No,
Oh.
no.
Man, that is maybe don't get that tattoo. You're gonna have to explain a lot of shit to people.
No, because it's gonna be in Japanese anyways.
Oh, that's fine.
So, but yeah, I'm super behind the idea. I don't like necessarily, and also podcasting has like significantly impacted my life. So it is kind of
It is weird.
symbolic.
Yeah, I feel the same way. I feel like I've listened to Joe Rogan speak more than I've heard anyone in my life
else?
speak.
Yeah.
Like if I literally like add up the hours,
Sure.
like no, like for real, like if I add up the hours, I don't talk to my mom that much. I don't talk to my grandparents that
Yeah.
much. I talk to my mom the most out of anybody I talk to besides you because we actually have a podcast.
Yeah.
And you know when I think
Isn't that
about it,
so bizarre?
yeah, it's
That's
like Joe Rogan is more a part of my life than anybody in my life
Yeah.
aside from physically. That's so crazy.
I think there's something creepy about it, but I think there's also something important about it because like there's an
It's a way to connect with people that you would be friends with, I think,
yeah
without, you know, the barrier of, you know, having to be there or know them, you know? So it is kind of interesting. It's like these are people that if, let's say they weren't like rich or famous and they were just normal people and we were high school kids, and if I ran into them and we talked, we would just be friends, is what I think. That's how I think about podcasts. It's like we would just talk about the same shit all day as friends.
Yeah. I also think that like some of the shit that we talk about is we would just, I mean, I guess with you, we would probably still have those conversations. Mm-hmm. But there's a lot of people who I have interactions with all the time who we never get to a place where like I feel
very
like
surface
we
level
had
shit.
a conversation that like I came out with something from it.
It's kind of sad.
Yeah, I think it's like pretty common. At least for me, it definitely is.
What's the nicest thing someone's done to you on the trail?
Man, I feel really grateful every time someone gives me a ride or gives me food. People go out of their way to like feed you. It's really nice. I've had people just like pull over on the side of the road. This lady gave me an ice cream. It was like the nicest thing ever. Yeah. And that little, like, the stuff is so little, but in the moment it's like so nice. It's like exactly what you want. Yeah, like one of the guys I was hiking with, he just finished in Oregon. I think he's actually gonna drive down here and just pick me up and drive me to this next spot so I don't have to hitch. People are just so friendly.
That's wild.
Yeah.
So you just bought like a one-way ticket here?
Yeah.
Where did you just come from?
Buffalo, New York.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. My dad just turned 70, so I went home for his birthday for like 3 days.
Is that where you're originally from?
Yeah. That's where I grew up. It's crazy. It's so old.
Buffalo?
70. My dad just turned 70.
Oh,
That's
70.
so
Yeah.
old. It's like
You
scary.
you do have old dad.
I know. He's an old dad.
Because you're only like...
I'm turning 30
No, you're not.
in November.
You're older than me?
Yeah.
I forgot that. You don't seem older than
Thanks. Appreciate it.
me. Honestly, 22.
I've done a lot for 22.
I would say you're 22.
Thanks.
You don't seem 22 in terms of like when I start talking to you, because you're like, damn, no 22-year-old has done this much shit, or is this thoughtful? But
No, people do usually think I'm younger than I am. Yeah, it's funny.
I would never guess 30. That's crazy.
I know, isn't that crazy? I feel like I've taken it on though. Although I have started the past because my birthday is in November, so the past couple months I keep being like, you know, in my 20s, I'm in my 20s. Like people in our 20s.
Oh yeah, we
just,
should
like,
do it. Don't we have like
light it
birthdays like
up.
really close to it? You
Yeah,
say
when's
you're
yours?
November, so mine's the 15th.
22nd. So you're a Scorpio? Yeah. Nice.
Scorpio, and you're like a.
Sagittarius. I only know that because I'm the first day.
I was gonna say lemur. I don't even know what they're called.
That would be cool. I want to be a mountain goat.
Yeah, I'm a mountain goat. What's your sign? Mountain goat. He's like these like mountain goat sounds.
Self-identify.
Yeah. Next thing they like turn around, you're like in the tree.
I wish. I'm like the least nimble person ever. I eat shit regularly on the trail. Most people don't do that.
You do jujitsu.
I know. I don't know why. And I have pretty good balance. Like, it's hard to take
Literally, the entire sport is trying to trip you.
But my feet, okay, I do think I've lost core strength. I'm gonna nerd out a little bit on jiu-jitsu.
From walking 1,000 miles, you lost core?
You're basically like in a like brace because the pack is like this, and when you want to move, you move all together. So you're not doing like sit-ups ever. You're just walking. So my hips have definitely gotten stronger. My feet are fucking jacked. Like the arch in my foot, it feels like a bicep. It's so strong.
Oh my God.
Stoked. Although I think I'm losing like shoulder muscle. So I'm interested to see like what it's gonna be like to roll after this because I think my body's different. I also made the mistake of getting my wedding dress altered before I did this trail. I feel like that's not gonna work.
Shoes are gonna fit different.
Yeah, I'm just probably not gonna wear shoes.
You're gonna like sneeze and you're gonna rip your shoes in half.
I started the trail in size 7.5. I just bought new shoes, same shoes, 8.5. Wow. Your feet just like flatten from like walking on them so much. Whoa. It's crazy.
You should get those fucking toe shoes.
I know. I wish. You have to have really, really strong feet to do that. Maybe
just
section.
Have 2 shoes and then wear them sometimes.
You can spend some time in them, yeah.
What do you hike in like boots?
No, like they're like running trail sneakers basically. So they're like
more comfortable,
like
more
light.
Ankle flexibility.
Yeah, really light, like running shoes basically. With it doesn't have a ton of padding.
I was doing it. I'm like I can't find the right word. When I went backpacking, I just wore Vans.
Oh, really?
And people were, like, fascinated by that. Like, everyone I saw was like, whoa, dude, you're hiking in Vans?
That's, like, terrible for your feet.
I would just slip. I trip on everything, and I'm wearing nice shoes.
Vans kind of do have traction. They're, like, for
flat.
Skating. They're flat, but, like, they're designed to pick up on, like, a grippy surface.
But,
so
like,
anything
I see it on, like, grips for a skateboard, but, like, on a, like, rock, like a wet rock.
Wet rocks, no. You're fucked. Good luck.
Yeah.
Anything wet, you're fucked. But if it's dry, you'll have actually better traction than you think. Like I live and die by skate shoes. They're actually pretty good shoes. They're not good for arches though, like arch support, because they're literally flat. There's no arch support. I mean, they have shoes now where they'll have an arch built into the shoe on the inside.
Yeah.
But it's not the same as like having to support yourself as you're moving.
The like Joe Rogan type hiker wisdom is that you just shouldn't have arch support.
Really?
Yeah, no one should have it, and you should just develop, even if you have high arches or whatever, or flat feet, you should just develop the strength in your feet, however they are. Because it's essentially like, I listened to this like physiologist or whatever, she was talking about it. Like any other injury or issue, like you wouldn't brace your knee forever. Like the point of the brace is to like help you get stronger so that you can take the brace off.
Yeah.
And the longer you brace something, the more it atrophies. And so it doesn't make any sense that we just like brace everyone's feet essentially, because that's what you're doing when you're putting orthotics like in the shoe.
Or just shoes in general, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, essentially, yeah. That's why the minimalist shoes got really popular for a while.
Yeah, they were talking about like, I mean, it's an extreme example, but these girls in Japan, they like, or China, sorry, maybe Japan too, but they wrap their feet when they're young because it's a sign of beauty, which is fucking disgusting. Because if you've ever taken those wraps off and you see one like one of the, like it's not pretty.
I don't think
it's
they do that as much anymore.
Yeah, I think
not
it's
as,
like
but there's still photos of it, right?
Yeah.
Like so you see this like what they would do, and then you realize, oh, like I noticed with my feet too. Is like sometimes I'll walk and my pinky toe will hit like on the edge instead of like splaying out because it's so used to being in shoes where it's kind of like curved in a little bit. And so when I'm doing jiu-jitsu, I'll know when I go to step out, I'll actually like roll over my pinky toe and I'll just like almost fall over. Yeah,
the other thing now, not just the minimalist shoes, but they have the like toe separators. And you can buy them and you're supposed to wear them. You get like wide box toe shoes and you're supposed to wear them all the time, and it makes your feet like better and stronger and more. That makes sense stable. Because they were saying like when you wear really wide shoes, like if you buy like specially wide shoes, your feet get wider. Yeah, like we're literally like I have little hobbit feet now. I don't know if we're gonna go back. Like they didn't look like this before.
That's so crazy. Like you can track like the like evolution of your foot as you change. It's pretty gnarly. Just your daily behavior. Yeah, I don't know if I can even. If I went to the gym with my feet like this, they would be like, "What the fuck?" Toenails are nasty. I would scratch the shit out of people. I saw. Have you seen this Craig Jones
video where he's like, if you scratch someone in our gym, you have to go get your nails painted, like
Nice.
and like done at a manicure before you can come back and stuff. And then the next he's like, this guy, he's like held his hand and he's like all painted and he's like, don't be like him.
That's funny.
It's so funny. And I sent that to Blue. I was like, me purposely scratching people so I can go get my nails done to have an excuse.
Yeah, I was thinking that.
I was like, I already paid
for
my
it.
nails, and you're gonna pay for this?
Yeah.
I'm just fucking scratch you and you.
Are you training a lot?
Yeah. I'm trying to. My goal for by the next ADCC, I want to qualify.
Nice. Damn.
Yeah, I at least want to. I want to see how far. If I can get into ADCC, that might be like my ultimate goal.
I think it's hard.
It's pretty hard, but we have a guy from our gym who is in ADCC.
No way.
Yeah,
Cool.
and his name is Damon Ramos,
Okay, cool.
and dude, he's fucking gnarly, right? And so it's like, oh, I'm training because like when I was training in Legion, I had to leave. I was bummed out because I was like, man, where am I gonna get world class? Like that's what I wanted to do. Is I wanted to do world class jiu-jitsu, and like moving to Reno, I looked out so hard because Max McGraw, the owner of Henzo Gracie, the place I train at now, Henzo Gracie Reno, used to train under Danaher as a black belt coach at Henzo, New York.
No way.
So he's a direct descendant of, I think he actually has his black belt under Henzo himself.
Wow.
But he was coaching with Danaher.
Cool.
And
That's amazing.
I was like, fuck. Like, I lucked out so hard because we just learned Danaher's system.
That's
right?
amazing. That's
And
awesome.
And then eventually, like, we haven't caught up with this conversation. We should move to Austin.
Oh, yeah.
We should plan it out a little
Was I
bit.
talking to you about that?
Braden brought it up last time we were jamming. He's like, let's just move to Austin. It's like, yeah, let's just get a fucking house.
Nah, Braden wouldn't have brought that up. That's probably me.
Oh, maybe it was you. But we should do that because not only is B Team Jiu-Jitsu in Austin now, but also New Wave, Danaher's team. And I just want to try both of them out.
I briefly contemplated going to the On It challenge. They're doing like a On It tribe meetup thing in October.
Really?
And I was like looking at tickets to see how much it would cost just to go out there and then like stay a couple days and see what Austin's like.
That'd be sick. I might be down.
It's gonna be too expensive.
Oh, too expensive.
I'm a broke bitch.
Damn. Yeah, we'll have to plan it out because it's like we don't want to go down there and like not have jobs and have a house. Then we're like, I don't know.
Yeah, I think a lot of people make that mistake.
Yeah, but once I get my purple belt, because to be able to train at B Team, you have to be a purple belt,
Right.
and you have to be like a competitive purple belt. But
Have you been competing?
kind of competed today.
Oh,
It
nice.
was an in-house tournament.
Nice, cool.
I did pretty well against people my size, and then this guy Chris, who's really big, just smashed me in 12-0, and I was just like,
Oh no.
I'm sorry, dude. Like in front of my coach, and I was just like, I don't even know what to tell you. I was like,
is
I
what it
recovered guard at least twice.
Yeah. I didn't get submitted.
I didn't fucking die. I didn't get submitted. That was the one thing I was
that's
proud of.
right.
I made it to the fucking end of the round.
Yeah, you did.
But no, but I've been competing a lot. The last competition I got
Oh, nice.
first place at white belt, and then I got second place in advance.
Nice. That's
Yeah,
awesome.
and advanced no gi, white belt gi.
What percentage of people in your gym have interest even in competing?
All of them.
All of them?
It's fucking insane.
Competitive.
You should have seen how many because we did a white belt in-house tournament, and you got to think a lot of people doing
Did you get your
jiu-jitsu.
blue belt?
I did. We did a white belt and blue belt tournament. So the
Oh,
white belts
okay.
were first, and then the blue belts
But
went.
this was before you got your blue belt then?
I got my blue belt after that tournament.
Okay. Yeah, yeah.
So I've only had my blue belt for fucking, I don't even know, like not even that long.
I
But
feel like it's been a while. No? I don't know. I don't remember.
a year, actually,
Yeah.
because last October it was
It
that
goes
tournament.
fast, I feel like.
I'm competing again this October, most
Nice.
likely. And then I want to go to Nogi Worlds in Anaheim, which is in
Nice.
December.
Nice.
So if you're still around California in December, you should just go for fun.
I don't train Nogi ever.
Do it.
compete or train?
Both. Fuck it. It's way easier.
I'd rather compete than train.
It's way easier. You don't have to fucking worry about anything.
Why do you only do?
Because that's like what we focus on. Because like Hyder's on, and a lot of people at our gym are on the Jordanian national team for jiu-jitsu. It's all gi, the competitions. So we focus on like Niwaza rules, which is like all submissions for all belts, like no heel hooks, but 5-minute rounds. Or like 5-minute matches, and it's like very like point,
very
like
point based,
tricky, like
traditional,
advantage, like whatever, like stuff. So that's really like the core of what we've done, just because that's what they compete in and that's what like they get paid for.
That's a whole different game.
But now, because Hyder retired and he's now the coach of the national team, he retired from competing.
That's pretty rad.
And I've taken him to the U.S. a few times to train. We went to Legion.
Yeah,
That was after. Yeah.
I
brought him and his brother, and it was
Did they have
so
fun?
Yeah. That was an experience. I was like, I feel so grateful I got to do that.
Did you go when they had more mat space? Have you seen how much mat space they have?
Yeah, it's crazy. They built it like while we were there.
Oh wow,
It was crazy.
cool.
We came in one day, we're like, there's like double the space. It was wild. But that was really fun watching him do it because he's a really good black belt, you know. And it was cool seeing him interact with like Connor and Andres and like whatever.
See how he does with them, and you're like, wow.
Yeah, and like it's cool because like I feel like at Legion it's probably like this at a lot of good gyms, where it's like the really good competitive black belts just kind of ignore everyone. Like they're nice and they'll teach and give you tips, but like when they're training, they just train with each other.
Yes.
And they ignore everyone. And it took like 1 or 2 days, and then Hyder and his brother were just like accepted into the group. They were like, "You are one of us now." But
That's
then
cool.
it was cool, but also annoying because then class would end, and the 5 whatever really good black belts would sit there and like work moves and positions for like an hour.
Yeah.
And I was like not invited as the like shitty blue belt.
That's
so I would
so annoying.
Sit there and be like, okay, I'll just wait.
Are
Like,
you
I'll
a
just
purple
wait till
belt
you're
now?
done. Well, now at the then I was still a blue belt. But I'll just wait till you're done. It's fine. Like you guys do your thing. It's fine.
You're like,
But,
yeah, I really wish I could learn those cool
I'll just
things.
sit over here and watch. It's fine. Yeah, it was cute. It was fun.
Oh, I'd be so mad. I feel you on that one.
Yeah.
That's a bummer.
I know, but I was proud of him.
Is Keenan teaching you moves?
Yeah.
Keenan only touched me one time. He showed me one move the whole time I was there. And I was, because like, you got to understand, like when I got into jiu-jitsu because of Keenan. But I think a lot of people, he was like one of the best people to watch on YouTube. Because he had these like old YouTube videos on how to do
jiu-jitsu. I used to listen to
jiu-jitsu.
his podcast talking about people you feel like you know them because you listen to them talk a lot.
Yeah.
Like he was like one of those people.
And then like, I was like, oh, I'm training at Legion where Keenan's the coach. And he would be the coach the whole time.
Fucking big, though.
I would see, he's way bigger than you would think. Yeah, he's at least like 6'2", 6'3". Do you want another drink? Yeah, go ahead. It hurts to walk. Don't you fucking walk 1,000 miles a day?
They don't tell you. There's 2 things they don't tell you. When you walk like 20 or 30 miles a day, every time you stand up, it's painful. And I asked this person, like, when does that end?
Never.
Months.
Months.
He's like 1 or 2 months.
That's interesting. Why do you think it's painful?
I don't know, but it's so funny. Everyone gets out of their tents in the morning, and everyone's like hobbling around, and all these people are like, "I'm gonna walk 35 miles today," and you're like,
That's so crazy.
"No, you're not," and then they do. Then you just like repeat it.
Honestly, that's how it was for me when I would skate all the time.
It's crazy.
I would skate like 10 hours a day, like legit 10 hours a day.
Yeah, and then you wake up in the morning. I have to like.
I couldn't move. I
pull
couldn't even like.
myself out of bed.
Yeah, it's like crying, like. And then I would just start like pushing around. I'd do like little tiny stretches just to get the blood in my legs, and then I would skate another 10 hours. And I'm like, how the fuck did I do that? But then the next day it would be even worse.
Yeah,
It'd be the same or worse. And then by the end of the week I would take like a day off, where I'm just like, I can't.
Yeah.
But
sad. There's also this thing called Christmas toes. You like some people lose feeling in their toes when they're hiking, and then they call it Christmas toes because usually you like get the feeling back around Christmas.
What?
So you finish the hike in like September, and then you get it back at Christmas.
Santa's like little gift.
Yeah, exactly.
Ho ho ho! Feeling for your toes.
Yeah.
It's like flies away. That's crazy.
Man, you're gonna go to ADCC. Okay, cool. If you make it
I-
to ADCC,
well,
I'm gonna come watch.
I like that you said
In
you're
person.
going to go, so I'm gonna keep that momentum up. Yes, I'm going to go.
I'm gonna fly
if I qualify.
back to it and watch you if you qualify.
I honestly think if I really do, like I was thinking about quitting my job and training full time. I think I'm at a comfortable level now.
You can't make money in jiu-jitsu. That's a problem.
Not if you're a boring jiu-jitsu athlete.
Does anyone
I don't
really
care
make
about
money?
making money in jiu-jitsu. I care about making money as an athlete.
Like
right?
in life, enough
Yeah.
money to like be reasonable.
Well, one, yeah, because I've done a lot of like life evaluating and thinking like, man, what is a career? What does that even fucking mean? Is it because like honestly to me, no matter, because I'm finally working in a laboratory, because I know last time I saw you
were at Ashley Furniture.
Yeah,
or something.
no,
like that.
more furniture. How
Sorry.
dare you bring up Ashley, our competitors, those
Take it
fucking
back.
demons.
You can beep it out.
Yeah, censor that. Kyle. Kyle's our producer. Just joking, we don't have a producer.
Kyle.
Yeah. But yeah, so I was working on more furniture as a good job. Like a job I should not have had when I had it. I had no experience.
Yeah.
They fired the other lady, and then I just had this job. And then the pandemic happened, I got laid off. But I always wanted to do like research or go into research field, because I fucking spent all my grandparents' money trying to go to college. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So it's like I want to show them something before they're gone. Like I'm doing the thing, so you guys don't have to worry that it was for nothing, right? And they're sweet because they don't actually care. They're like, we just want you to be happy.
Right.
And I was like, I know, but I have to do this to be happy. To
For me,
like
for you.
my
For
guilt.
me.
Yeah, yeah. For me, for you, for me. Yeah, exactly. And but so I'm finally doing the thing. I'm like, actually next week next week or the week after I start as a histology technician in at the laboratory that I work at in Reno. No, we do like I'll be analyzing like tissue slides.
Oh, tissue.
And like giving them to somebody, but really it's honestly sounds more important than it is. It's basic lab position, but I realized, it doesn't matter where you work, it's all just a corporate thing.
Yeah.
And that's not me. I'm the last person you want in your company working for you, because I don't give a fuck. I mean, I'm a good employee.
Like
I'm a
most
good
people, I
employee,
think.
but I really don't care. Like, I
That's
don't
most
care if
people.
the company does well, unless I was in a position that was affecting the trajectory of the company. Because then I would be like, okay, I'm going to take pride in my work. I'm going to steer, because I'd feel important. But you're paying me fucking $20 an hour, and the guy at fucking McDonald's is going to make $20 an hour.
Yeah.
I'm doing science. Like, I don't give a fuck. Clearly, you don't value me as much as a McDonald's employee. So go fuck yourself.
It's a good way to start.
Yeah.
Fucking
Yeah.
do
I have a
it.
pretty positive outlook.
It's
Pretty
gonna
good.
It sounds like going to be a great experience.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, like I do like the idea of like working in lab, like a general good for everything. But again, that's my mentality. I kind of don't give a fuck, because I see how the corporations just fuck people over. You're nothing to them, whatever it is. And I'm just like, man, all this time I'm spending here, I could be learning jiu-jitsu with a smile on my face.
Yeah.
Or someone's chest in my face. But whatever.
Yeah.
Whatever it is, it's still good. I'd still be
A
smiling
grown
under.
man sweating
Yeah.
into my mouth.
Love it. I'd be so happy. Laughing it up. But, dude, like, sometimes I'll go to work in the morning, like, tired as fuck. I'd be like, I could be at jiu-jitsu right now training. And I'm like, almost cry. Because I'm like,
Yeah.
fuck, dude, what am I doing? Am I just being a pussy? Or do I actually have bills? Like, is there, like, what is the nature of this reality? Am I in the matrix? Did I fuck up? Did I buy into the system and now I'm in the rat race? And so it's like, but I'm also not naive. So I want to, like, do something in a way where I'm not going to fuck over myself
Yeah.
just to pursue something that, I mean, I'm 28. The chances of me being a world-class athlete at this point are fucking next to zero. And so I'm very aware of my chances of doing anything, remotely remarkable. But I do think I have plans to do things that other jiu-jitsu athletes don't, which is I want to, as I build up the, Twitch stream and all this stuff up a little bit more, and I have more space. I can't do it in my apartment because it's too fucking small. But I want to start hosting like jiu-jitsu tournaments and getting people who stream on Twitch to also compete against each other, like popular streamers to fight each other in a jiu-jitsu tournament. Like build up things that you're not going to see fucking, some jiu-jitsu guy do this.
Yeah.
It's very rare. Or do instructionals. Like, I might not be the best at jiu-jitsu, but I think I have a mind for jiu-jitsu.
Yeah,
like,
I
I
think
can
you understand it
analyze
well.
things, and
Yeah.
I'd be like, I think I'd be a better coach than I would be, an athlete.
Yeah.
But that's where I see things going, and that's why I want to pursue it more. However, I also want a Corvette.
I got a ride
and
in
I just brought
Tesla today.
You got a Tesla?
Uber here.
Oh, did he go fast for you?
He did.
He was pretty cool.
It's nice. Then he like had a photo album on his little screen. It was showing me all the pictures of his house. Normal?
No.
I don't know.
No, not at all.
Great.
Yep, that was
I know
weird.
Where he lives. He wanted to show me his solar panels. No, he wanted to show me his solar panels and was talking about lithium.
And he scrolling by and he's like a shrine of Elon and he's like, oh, sorry, don't look at that.
Yeah, pretty much. That was kind of the vibe, but I didn't hate it. Rob, shout out to Rob, the Uber driver.
That's a pretty interesting flex. Look how fucking eco-friendly I am, bitch.
That's basically what he was doing, and I was like, I don't know anything about that.
I'm so environmentally conscious.
He's like, I've done my research.
Yeah.
Good for you, I'm glad.
Yeah. Life is
That's
strange.
cool. I love jiu-jitsu. I wish I could do it more. I also feel like I'm old. But
I feel old too. I know
really
what you
want
mean.
to teach. That's what I want to do.
Teach jiu-jitsu?
I love teaching. I started teaching in the fundamentals class, and I love it. And
Isn't it fun?
It's so fun to teach people their first rear naked choke. It's just like you can tell in a fundamentals class of 10 people, 8 of them are gonna 3 of them are gonna quit immediately because they're like, this is gross. And then 5 of them are gonna stick it out for another couple months and get their first or second stripe and then be like, my body hurts, I'm quitting now. And then a couple of them, you can tell from the first time they choke someone, their eyes light up and they're like, this is for me forever. And there's no in between on people. And you can pretty much pick it out from the beginning, who's gonna stick around. But showing people their first moves and how to be more efficient and all this little stuff, I love it so much. It's so much fun.
You know what made me stick with jiu-jitsu, I think, is just when I got a roll with someone who was really good, I was like, oh, fuck. If I don't know this, I'm so fucked.
Yeah. I got to wrestle with some of the hiker friends, and they were all like, haha, you can probably kick my ass. But some of the boys, especially in their head, they're like, she couldn't actually kick my ass. It's so easy to
You've kicked my ass. I know you kicked their ass.
It's so easy to arm drag someone who's never trained.
They just give it to you.
They're just I attack.
Yeah. Arms wide open, elbows flared.
No, it's so funny.
That's cool though that you teach a fundamentals class.
Yeah,
that's another thing I've been thinking
it.
about doing is streaming jiu-jitsu lessons for free on Twitch. What I want to do is develop a really solid beginners course. And not just I think the Legion's beginners course is brilliant. I'm not a black belt, so who am I to say that it's not a better a great course? But the one thing that I feel is missing a lot from jiu-jitsu is a proper curriculum that's outlined sort of like a college course.
Yeah.
And it's here's the fundamental submissions, right? Here is and not just people think that in advanced jiu-jitsu that's when you learn to string things together. No. You should learn or be aware of how all of these, at least the main fundamental movesets, all interact with each other.
Yeah.
And then because the one thing that's the scariest people in jiu-jitsu are people who can move in between submission, in between position with contact on you effortlessly.
Yeah.
When people keep pressure on you and they keep connection in between different positional switches, it's not only is it so suffocating because you feel like you can't go anywhere,
So true.
but it's a superpower. They feel like they're 8 steps ahead of you, and you're holy.
And so heavy.
And heavy, yeah. And that's why I've been watching a lot of the Danaher instructionals and all that shit, because they do that, but their instructionals are they're geared to make money.
Yeah.
So they're all separate, and they're not really.
Right,
They'll
yeah.
reference other ones, but they don't
it's interesting.
interrelate them. So what I'm trying to do is kind of steal everything from those, and not put it out there for free or anything like that, but make it my own thing into distill it down into a beginner course, beginner friendly sort of understanding of things. And then the thing I'm most excited about.
I feel like that's pretty smart, just because the few months that I did jiu-jitsu,
you learn 7 moves and you're cool, but I don't know what to do with these.
And when the teacher's instructing you, it's they don't teach you anything that you need to know to get to
the move.
Place.
Yeah, they're like, you're here. Here's the position.
So true.
Good luck.
I've trained at like probably 20 or 30 gyms because every time I travel, I like to just drop in.
Yeah.
And it's so funny sometimes because you'll go to a gym and the person who's teaching, like, they just like randomly come up with something like on their drive there, and you have all these white belts, and he's like, okay, here's a 7-point sequence from Omoplata to Kiss of the Dragon. And everyone is like, what the fuck? And there's like 1 or 2 other people that get it, and then they're like, okay, roll.
That's like the 2 purple belts that showed up later, like,
yeah, I got it.
Kiss of the Dragon, Omoplata.
Yeah,
that's pretty cool. I like that. I like that transition.
Like an exclusively white belts course.
Yeah, that's what I teach. We have the class I teach. You have to take 8 classes before you can join the class, just so you know what like side control is.
And then like, you want to be there too, and you're not going to be a fucking dickhead. Like there's a lot of people in jiu-jitsu, and it's not necessarily their fault because it's hard to really understand that you're not supposed to. When someone's so good at fucking you up, you think you have to go harder because you're like, well, I can't be a big guy getting fucked up like this. And, like, if they're fucking me up, then I'm just not trying hard enough. So I'm going to throw all my weight onto them in the most precarious position that I don't know anything about. And next thing you know, someone's knee snaps.
That's also
and you're like, fuck.
The benefit of, like, us having these 8 classes, and probably the benefit of me teaching them, because I'm non-threatening. I'm friendly. Like, you don't feel like you need to murder me to, like, prove your manlyhood. And then I really closely monitor their rolls. We do 2-minute rolls, and you can only be in a position you know. And once you get to a position you don't know, I just reset them in, like, what position we worked on.
That's really cool. I like that.
And we keep it really fun and friendly and, like, laughy and not competitive. So they do that, and then they get put into the normal class where other people murder them. Yeah. But at least they're like, okay, like I have some like
situational awareness.
Yeah, situational awareness. And also like I didn't come into this like day 1, I've never learned anything. I learned the Kiss of the Dragon and now I have to fight.
Yeah, you learn like one of the most advanced back take sequences.
You don't even know what a guard is or like what the rules are.
Yeah, that only works if you're a De La Riva expert. Like and you're like, I could do the Kiss of the Dragon, and then you just fucking snap your leg trying to go under somebody because they just sit on you and you're like, oh! Your knee pops, your ACL is just fucking blown. No, and I don't know why no one in jiu-jitsu has really ever even done this, to be honest with you, because I mean I think Keenan might have been the closest person I've ever seen to make.
Did you ever go to his white belt classes?
I was in a few of them. No,
so
Andres is really good, and he'll teach you the passing stuff, but it didn't. I'm talking about whiteboard, like curriculum, like you can know.
Style.
Yeah.
Like if you go into jiu-jitsu knowing you want to learn the whole thing from the beginning, I think a lot of people would want that. Like everyone that's on Reddit that's a white belt would want that. But like I've taught a lot of people, they're just like, I'm fat. Like
I'm just here to fucking lose weight.
I want you to make me run for 10 minutes.
Yeah.
Araya did one of your other like original podcasts when you were still in California. I just went through and listened to him. I have like no strong interest in jiu-jitsu, but they're just fun to listen to. And one of the things I thought was fascinating was how like you were super drunk too, and you just went on and on about it. But you were like you were very explicit, and like you realized like something about like having 3 points of contact at all times or something. Yeah. And that's like a concept that no one's ever going to talk about unless you like kind of separate it from the physical act first, because it's more it is more of like an abstract thing.
Well, that's why Danaher's so brilliant, and so there's so many things in jiu-jitsu that you'll hear your instructor say it, but you're not paying attention to it because they're showing the move.
I was going to say, Danaher's presentation skills are terrible. Like, I have one of his instructions. I can't watch it because the way he talks.
You have to go 2 times speed.
So bored.
2 times speed.
I know.
You have to do 2 times speed, or I don't keep up. If it's not 2 times speed.
It's like I think I'm listening, and then 30 seconds later, I'm like, what?
You see the fundamental
oh my God, I can't.
philosophy.
It's like traumatized.
Wedges are the most important frames.
And the benefit of doing like something where you're streaming it or it's a package or you're selling it to that specific audience. It's not like you're trying to have a gym and have a bunch of people be members.
That's the other thing is like there's no gym connection.
Yeah, you don't just need people to sign up to pay.
My only goal is to like get a few people in, see if what I'm teaching is actually valuable, and then let let it speak for itself. Like, if these people feel comfortable going to jiu-jitsu after this and they feel like they call me and they're like, I actually did good. Like, I did way better than I thought I would do going to a gym for the first time. That would be so rewarding. And that's, like, what the whole class would be structured around is, like, I want people to, and it's more of a philosophy of jiu-jitsu, too, because I feel like that's, like, the cognitive part of jiu-jitsu is, I think, the most important. Like, anybody can learn a move. Anybody can learn and drill and do all these things. And if you only drill and you only know moves, and the only people that are going to actually ever succeed at that are people who are athletic. Because you're going to have, like, the super athletes are always going to be the person who's not athletic if they do the same amount of drills and the same amount of learning. But where the difference is when people can think about jiu-jitsu and how fundamental tactics apply everywhere. So the substrate of, like, the truth of jiu-jitsu, like, what are you actually doing? Like, you're not doing an omoplata. What you're doing is you're isolating the elbow and you're from the shoulder and from the rest of the body. And you're using torque from your hips to break the arm, right? So there's a fundamental set of sequences that, like, if you just I want to distill jiu-jitsu down to the most, like, isolated, complete components, and then let people build it up from themselves. Because if you just teach people omoplatas, like, yeah, you can have the non-athletic guy and the athletic guy learn the omoplata, drill it 100 times. Who's going to win every single time in an omoplata battle? The athletic dude. Every single time, if they're the same weight, right? What the difference is when someone starts trying to relieve pressure from that omoplata, and the person who thinks cerebrally about jiu-jitsu is going to pull that leg and keep them in balance and not let them move. And then they're going to get the break. You know, you have to think about what the purpose of why you're doing what you're doing is. And I think there's a lot of, I don't know any jiu-jitsu courses that really teach that aside from just like, this is guard, this is half guard. And then it's like, no, you need to learn the importance of frames. Like, one of the most important things I ever learned was how Danaher taught frames. I was like, oh, I have more inside connection than my opponent. It distills it down to that much. And that is, like, literally all you need to know, and then you can work with that and come up with your own techniques. Not to say that current techniques aren't vetted and obviously really good, right? But the creativity is just you give the creativity the space to basically explode when you give people the fundamental building blocks of what to do, instead of, here's a very specific technique.
Yeah.
And that's why I want to make that course and fucking stream it on Twitch and, like, get everyone good at jiu-jitsu. My mom tells me about, like, kids that she, like, her people that she works with, and her kids just, like, get bullied. I know kids that,
really?
I know parents at my work, they're like, my sons are getting bullied. I'm like, put them in jiu-jitsu.
Yeah.
For a month, they learn, like, one hip toss. That kid's going to come, that kid does not know a hip toss.
It's going to be a fucking hero.
Yeah.
Oh, and hip tosses are, like, dynamic, too. All the other kids will be
The
like,
kid's going to, like, try to
him.
swing. He's going to go for the underhook. He just fucking,
rips it. Oh, it's so funny.
But what time is it?
Oh, should we go 6?
It's
I think
6?
6 to 7.
Okay.
Right? Let's see. I don't know what time zone we're in. I don't even know where I am.
If it's 6, we should probably head down. We'll call the Uber. I just want to say thank you, Mary, for being on my podcast.
Yeah,
it's so nice to see you. I can't wait to go watch the fights with you.
Yeah, I'm stoked.
I'll say goodbye for Zephyr. Zephyr says bye. Thank you, Twitch. This has been the Ghost Show. And see you next time.